Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure to be here. I come from London, and so the weather is slightly warmer here, so always exciting to come down to Madrid. Now, I'm also doubly excited because in front of us, I hadn't realized, this coffee table is from one of our portfolio companies at ProFounders called Made.com. So excited to see that as well. It's very cool. So I'm Sean. I'm with ProFounders Capital. We are a venture fund based in London. We invest in early stage disruptive, digitally enabled businesses that improve broken customer experiences. We are quite technology agnostic, so we do everything from e-commerce websites through to blockchain, and have looked at a number and made a couple of investments in the blockchain space. We have not invested in ICOs, to put that out there right now. Now, show of hands, who owns crypto in the audience? And keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. If you own a cryptocurrency besides Bitcoin, please keep your hand up. Otherwise, lower your hand. So if you own other cryptocurrencies. OK, so these people, OK, if you own something else besides Ether, bring your hand down. Litecoin? OK, so you people, that's good. So actually, we have a number of people here that have experience in a broader array of different kinds.
Maybe they have app coins.
Does anyone have app coins from Aptoid? Oh. Sorry, Carolina. Maybe they will buy at the end of this session.
Right.
So that'll be good to know. Now, as just to disclose, I own a little bit of those 3 coins that I mentioned above. But actually, it's such a tiny amount. I own more in breweries, craft breweries in East London through crowdfunding platforms than I do in cryptocurrencies. So it's not that much. It's more really just to play and have fun. Now, I think the title was a little bit misleading on this panel as well, because there's a question and it doesn't really answer itself. And so what we really wanted to do was take it to the next stage, because we all know cryptocurrencies are around. People will debate their relative usefulness and what you can do with them and how you can use it and the energy costs and all this kind of stuff. But we want to talk about the second derivative of cryptocurrencies, which was really how technology companies can use the ICO, the cryptocurrency, to fund themselves, to help create liquidity in their ecosystem. And what are the benefits, what are the difficulties in doing that? Because we actually think that is a much more fundamentally interesting topic. And in addition, we've got some panelists that can truly talk about what it's really like to raise money in an ICO, what it's like to build a business, how you manage your community, and what you do with this cryptocurrency that you have created for your business. So to that end, let me ask the panelists, Carolina and Eneko, just to very briefly introduce themselves and kind of their interest exposure in crypto, if you will.
OK, thanks for having me. I'm Carolina Marsalo. I'm here representing AppCoins, which is a cryptocurrency for app stores. Basically, I've been working with Aptoid App Store, which is a third-party Android app store, an alternative app store to Google Play, with more than 250 million active users around the world. And with a few problems that we found with transactions in app stores and with developers, we decided to work with blockchain technology about a year ago. And we developed a project called AppCoins, and which basically is the cryptocurrency for Aptoid App Store, but it is an open protocol based on Ethereum. So the idea is to create an App Store Foundation, which is being founded right now with early adopted members. Aptoid being the first app store to be the member of the App Store Foundation, and governing the AppCoins protocol, and expanding to the App Store space.
Great. And Eneko, I know you've been a founder, an investor. What is your interest exposure in crypto ICOs?
Yes, I've been a startup founder for the last 20 years. I started investor, investing in companies like TicketBiz, Cabify, Housers, and so I know the investment side from both sides of the table, and I'm now very focused on the crypto world. I started Phaidon, a crypto fund, and I'm very interested in these new ways for startups to raise funds like ICOs or security token offerings, and I mean, I'm very excited about this.
So, Eneko, take me back. So when you founded your first company, it was, you still look quite young, but it was a number of years ago. But if you were to do it again, would you come to someone like me as a VC investor, or would you go straight to an ICO? What do you view as the pros and the cons of doing an ICO versus talking to the traditional VCs?
Okay, 1 second that we have the...
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, yes.
We have an exciting announcement. missing speaker was flying over from Athens and landed and has literally run from the airport. The plane was massively delayed, so I think he deserves a big round of applause. Please welcome to the stage Adrian Niculescu from Cloudcoin and Faster Capital. Welcome, Adrian. Awesome.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Welcome, welcome.
So, answering your question, I mean, this world is super exciting, and ICOs have given opportunity to companies in the past to raise funds where traditional VCs would never have funded these companies. Like, I mean, the Aragon. I mean, if the Aragon guy comes to you like with selling you the SAP for the blockchain companies, I mean, so that was a crazy idea, but he got the funding to build technology for the blockchain. So ICOs have been a super important part of the blockchain world and the blockchain history. I mean, there has been money going to startup to build technology, and that the technology is going to be there, and whatever happens with the ICOs, so the technology is there, and now we are in a good moment to go up.
Yep. And if we think about it from a founder perspective, when you raise money from a VC, you're giving up equity ownership in the business. You have people like me, as they say in the US, up in your business the entire time, like really paying close attention, wanting board meetings on a regular basis. There's a lot more freedom and flexibility with an ICO as well. So there are definitely a lot of benefits that come from it, right?
Definitely. I mean, when I hear ICO founders, I mean, of course, the freedom that gives you not having your investors like every month telling you what have you done, so that they feel free. But on the other hand, so people feel free also to run away with the money. Yes, and that's the problem with the ICOs.
So I don't mean that as the transition, running away with money, but Adrian, why don't you tell us a little bit about Cloudcoin and how it works and what the purpose it serves?
Before that, I want to introduce myself for 2 minutes.
Of course, yeah, sorry.
I believe this is the first panel after lunch time, right? And usually, right?
Correct.
Usually this is the hardest one because people tend to go to sleep a little bit. So I would like to describe the present moment in cryptocurrency by telling you how I got here. Coming to this event was planned way ahead, but I'm doing back and forth Bucharest, London, and other cities. And I didn't know the city where I was about to fly yesterday from. So I flew from Bucharest. There wasn't any flight, the morning flight, to arrive at this time. So I went to Athens last night. I spent one night in airport, which for a workaholic was very good because I worked all night and I slept for 3 hours, like that. When I came from Athens here, the plane had a delay for about 40 minutes. And on that plane, I'm in early 40s, I was one of the youngest on that flight. It was the bumpiest flight ever. So I came from there and I arrived 5 minutes late. But fortunately, I arrived, which is very good. What happens with this world of cryptocurrency is in the chaos stage before the success and before the regulation, how to say. And this is an essential step which can't be avoided. And the playfield for a digital currency or a cryptocurrency widely adopted is empty because there isn't one at the present moment which is widely adopted, right? Because let's say Bitcoin failed to do that and become investment asset, which is the new gold but more volatile. Let's say Ripple works to replace IBAN payments. Electroneum works with merchant payments. Cloudcoin wants to be a digital adopted, a widely adopted currency, is ready for retail and for e-commerce and for gaming. And also Ethereum is the source of all the ICOs. And as was my trip coming there, like a mess, but with a happy ending, you can say that. We were used to say that the education system is broken, right? and there is a need for new education. Are you with me here?
Yeah.
But also the financial system is broken, and there is a huge space for millennials and for really smart people to design a new financial system. And the banks have two choices. One of them is to fight against that trend or to ally with it, right?
Exactly.
So actually, you touched on something there about the financial system, and I'm thinking a little bit about part of that as well is people watching the stock markets, because it's a little bit like the Wild West, like back in the early web days, when there's a lot going on, a lot of money made, a lot of fake money made, a lot of things going on, and once again, a bad transition. But Carolina, I wanted to talk a little bit about the environment, because you guys are one of the few kind of Iberian companies to pull off an ICO. Maybe tell us about how much money you raised, but then I'm intrigued as well because it's out there. All crypto, all tokens have dropped significantly in value. Mm-hmm. What does that mean for the team who are token holders? What are people like internally when they're watching the price of it fluctuate up and down? And
yeah, we raised, our ICO was in December of 2017, so almost a year ago. It was supposed to last for 1 month, but we raised the maximum cap, which was 15.6 million euros, which was about 16 or 17 million dollars at the time, in 1 week, in 7 days. So we were very successful. And when the tokens were released on January 5th, we were listed right away on Binance, which was the #1 crypto exchange at the time, and 1 week later in Huobi, which was like #3. So the value of AppCoins raised, it was up to $2, $3, and $4, which was, it was sold 7 cents in the pre-sale and 10 cents on the sale. Wow. So during those first weeks, people could exchange the AppCoins. Obviously, today, the scenario is much different. At the time, Ethereum was at its top. Now it is not. And we were warned, and we always warned our token holders, which we don't really call investors because we are utility tokens. So they're token holders, they invested in a project. We were a company already established with a number of users. We had VC rounds, and this was a specific project that we wanted to do in blockchain. We wanted to take 3 transaction flows in the blockchain. So for the team, obviously me being part of the team, it is, I want to see the value as much as possible because we were all, instead of stock options, we were all offered a number amount of tokens in terms of, investment, that we have a phase that we can then cash out within a year. But I know that the value comes within the number of transactions and the number of app stores that belong and come in the system, the ecosystem. And that's going to take about, in the maturity of the technology, which we are, working towards it. We have already one app store, Aptoid, integrating with AppCoin, so 200 million active users already can access the 35 app developers that already have integrated with the AppCoin's SDK, so users can actually transact and buy in-app items with AppCoins. And
but are people ticker watching? Do they sit there and look at the price of the AppCoin?
Yeah, we have 2 channels, like Telegram channels and social media, and there are people who just invested in the terms of it's a bubble. I'm going to invest in this because without thinking that this is the project. But this is changing and.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And so, Adrian, tell me, did you guys use an ICO? Did you raise? Where are you in the?
We had a different model, basically. Cloudcoin was built on a technology which is better than blockchain, called Radar, which has some big advantages related to the blockchain. It was launched in March 2017. And at that time, we said that RIDA is faster than blockchain. It's more scalable. The transactions are instant, and the coin is 100% anonymous because no transactions are registered on an open ledger. So there are no traces when the transactions are made. In the meantime, many other companies built new blockchains because the godfather blockchain is too slow, has a lot of problems. And in the meantime, we arrived at a stage that we are faster than Visa and much faster than blockchain. And we started a different path with, we called it early sales, early initial sales.
Right.
From
This is the SAFT, the sales agreement for future tokens?
Not necessarily. Basically, the coins started to be sold from around like 30 trusted sellers, the members of the consortium. And like 1 month ago, was listed Cloudcoin on BitShares, the first exchange. And now we are in discussion with like 10 exchanges. Our problem was, and also the opportunity, initially was seen as a problem that not being a blockchain-based currency, it seemed to be impossible to be listed on exchanges. And the guys from BitShares, what they did, they created some Cloudcoin BitShare tokens. So basically there is an interface, you upload Cloudcoins to that interface, and automatically the Cloudcoin tokens are transferred to BitShares. And this opened the gate from RIDA to blockchain, basically, allowing companies doing business on blockchain to move on RIDA for some specific advantages. I will say one of it, very important. And the second one, to open Cloudcoin to be listed on all exchanges. RIDA now will start working with just an example as a business case use. And I wanted to ask you a question about that. It's very interesting that we are in the same panel, because I wanted for 2 months to ask somebody, but I will ask you. And so, for example, when you buy, let's say, a Gucci bag, how can you tell that it's genuine or not?
Very difficult, yes.
So what we'll do with RIDA, let's say in every Gucci purse will be embedded a Cloudcoin. The moment you are purchasing that bag, you can verify instantly on the phone that note, that Cloudcoin, which is unique and which transmits in the network every 6 minutes like a signal telling you that that bag is genuine. And this will be expanded to, is a unique technology, by the way. It's patented and it's unique. Also, when you buy, let's say, Nike shoes, how do you know that those shoes are original or not? Because the fakes are better than, there are so many industries where the counterfeit problem is huge. Yeah. And RIDA is very good for that. And what I wanted to ask you, and is very important, because with ICOs, I love the model of ICO, but I love from the perspective of startup raising the money. And you know that 90% of the ICOs will disappear. I believe that you will be in the 10%, because you are looking, I looked at your website, I did some research. You are looking on the long term about the evolution of the technology. So really doesn't matter if right now the tokens are low in price. If you will be able to stay in the market for, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, and if your currency will be adopted in an ecosystem, this will be the winner strategy for you and for the buyers. Very important for the people putting money and funding
this is something that actually, this is a very good transition, because actually one of the things I want to chat a little bit about was the security versus the utility token and what that means from an investor perspective. So I can understand, in your case, you've got a very clear utility about how the cloud coin is going to be used in the ecosystem and how it
Exactly.
benefits. But I guess, Eneko, from your experience, because you're, like I said, you've been a founder, you've been an investor in these, how do you see regulation evolving in this space? What is going to happen? The SEC is making a lot of noise about it. How do we ensure that people are buying these coins to be part of the community as opposed to trying to make a quick buck?
And I think I think ICOs are it's a big risk. I mean, you really need to think that you are going to raise like 50 million because it's 1 million. The risk is huge. So I think that the SEC in the United States is going to go after tons of ICO founders, and people are going to go to jail. And if you don't go to jail, so maybe you are not allowed to get into the United States anymore. And if you are a founder and somebody tells you, look, if you run the ICO, you are not going to get into Poland ever again, so it's okay. But if you're not going to get into the United States ever again to see the Grand Canyon or something, that's a huge problem. But yeah. I think that it's going to the SEC is going to go hard against the ICOs because I mean there has been a lot of scams, and you know that happens. There are like very good companies and there are scams, and everybody is paying for the scenes.
Carolina, how did you guys think about that? How did you ensure that app coins were a security? Yes, a utility, not a security token. Thank you.
Did it on purpose. No,
yeah.
I'm kidding. We weren't classified as a security because we weren't a startup starting and raising capital for the first time. It was a specific project, and the utility of the token, if you think about it, it's you can only use app coins to transact or to make in-app purchases, to do user acquisition inside the app stores, and do developer ranking systems inside app stores. So there's a specific, you can't trade it anywhere else. And there's actually, we did a circular, what we call a circular economy is if a developer invests in user acquisition, let's say like sponsored apps, for example, the user sees in the app stores the sponsored app, and can have rewards in terms of app coins. And those app coins that the user is getting for downloading and spending time on that application can only be used inside app stores. So this is why we classified ourselves as a utility token. What we do to protect ourselves
So you feel comfortable going to the US then?
Well,
Maybe
I'm American, so I better be let in. I do feel comfortable, and we do work to protect ourselves with agencies and law firms. Right now, we're trying to be listed on Bittrex and Kraken, and for that, we work with consultants and law firms to write us the legal memos in order to be to prove all of this. So this is very important, and it takes time, and actually it's expensive also. Yeah.
Got it. So we have about 2 minutes left. So I wanted to get each of your thoughts very quickly on kind of where we are in the cycle, because you mentioned it's chaos right now. It's the wild, wild west. So maybe it's not a prediction of what Bitcoin looks like in 6 months, but how much room do we have to continue to go down before, in all of our view, things continue to move back up on the crypto valuation side?
It shouldn't be our worry that because Bitcoin has 50% of the market, I will have other type of worry, if you allow me. Just to finish with an idea, how many people are startup founders here? And when you go to a VC, how do you proceed? Do you have an idea and you say, okay, I need to raise money, and after that I will do something with the idea, right? Some ICOs are like that, no? But in a total different perspective. Ideally, with a startup, you would start to create an MVP or to do something to create some money, and after that to go to raise funds. This market will go back to the business fundamentals. When you analyze an ICO, you have to know first that white paper was written by copywriters, people who can make you, by reading that white paper, to put a second mortgage on your house to buy those tokens, which could be worthless, right? It's like advertising on TV. So you need to go back to the business and to think about the possibility for that token to be adopted and to be used somewhere, to have a use in the real world.
Got it.
This is the factor between failure and the success.
So Neko, let me ask you, because you are a historical investor in crypto. Are you buying or selling right now?
I'm a holder, and I recommend people to buy because I think that we are in the bottom of the market. Okay. This is not an investment advice, whatever, you know. So I'm very positive. And regarding the ICO, I mean, we run out of time. So regarding the ICO world, I mean, ICOs, I'm surprised that last month there were like 1 billion in ICOs. Now it's kind of dry, and maybe security tokens is the next big thing for the next year.
And I think one thing to keep in mind is that in the late 90s, if you think about kind of the Web 1.0 revolution, there's a lot of money coming into the ecosystem at incredibly rapid rates. And yes, a lot of the companies didn't make it, but built during that time included Amazon and Google, right? So there are going to be some phenomenal winners out there. It's just kind of a mess right now. And it's really hard to call what the winners are going to be. We know 2 of the winners, so please go out and potentially purchase some of these coins. But you know, guys, overall, we could spend hundreds of hours talking about this. So thank you very much to the panelists for your time, and thank you to the audience as well.